Welcome to Herdly, where books turn into 3 stories, refreshing your knowledge in minutes. Today, we listen to Colin James's How to Influence Anyone, Anywhere, Every Time, in which we probe into the art of influence through strategic communication that shapes thoughts, emotions, and actions for mutual benefit. Colin James is a leadership educator, coach, and speaker with over 35 years of experience. Don't go away. Herdly, the editor, will be right back with the story. Let me take you through 3 moments that vividly illustrate the power of influence through strategic communication. These stories will show how the right words, delivered with the right intent, can shape thoughts, emotions, and actions in profound ways. Story 1: The CFO's Epiphany. Angela, the CFO of a major division at an Australian bank, found herself in a new world during the COVID-19 pandemic. Working from her dining room table, she juggled numbers and Zoom meetings, with her 2 young daughters often watching from the sidelines. One day, her 9-year-old asked a simple question. "Mummy, what do you do for work?" Angela explained her job, expecting the usual disinterest, but her daughter responded with, "But all you seem to do is talk. Do you talk for a living, Mummy? Or is your work just meetings?" This innocent observation hit Angela hard. It made her realize that her job wasn't just about managing finances, it was about influencing others through communication. "My daughter made me realize that mostly what I do all day is communicate. My job is to influence people to my way of thinking," she admitted. This shift in perspective led Angela to rethink her approach to work. Instead of focusing solely on data, she began to emphasize the effectiveness of her communication, learning to engage with emotion, energy, and authority. This simple yet profound change in her approach transformed not only how she worked, but also how she was perceived by her team. Story 2: The Silent Revolution in the Boardroom. In a high-stakes board meeting, a newly appointed CEO faced a challenging situation. He had been in the role for only a few months and was still finding his footing when it came to influencing the long-established board members. The meeting was critical. Decisions had to be made about the company's future direction, and the CEO needed to gain their trust and commitment. However, as the meeting progressed, he realized that despite his well-prepared slides and data, he wasn't making the impact he had hoped for. The board members remained unmoved, and the discussion felt stagnant. Reflecting on his training, the CEO remembered a crucial lesson. The meaning of your communication is the response that you get. He decided to shift gears. Instead of relying on the data, he began to share a personal story about his journey to the CEO position, highlighting the challenges and values that had driven him. His tone was sincere, his body language open, and his message clear. This unexpected turn caught the board members off guard and shifted the energy in the room. Suddenly, the conversation became more engaged. The board members leaned in, and by the end of the meeting, they were not only listening, but actively contributing to the discussion. This was a turning point for the CEO, who realized that influence was not just about presenting facts, but about connecting on a human level. Story 3: The Call Center Conundrum. Maria, a 23-year-old call center employee, stood before a room full of executives, about to deliver a presentation on the current state of their customer service. The stakes were high, her colleagues were frustrated, customers were unhappy, and the company's reputation was at risk. The executives had already sat through hours of presentations that day, and Maria was well aware that she needed to capture their attention quickly. She began not with data, but with a story. "At the end of each shift, some of my colleagues weep from the stress and frustration they face every day. Customers, often at difficult times in their lives, take out their anger on us, the call center operators. We try to help, but the company's policies and procedures make it nearly impossible." Maria's voice was calm, but laced with the determination of someone who had had enough. She spoke for just 12 minutes, without slides or notes, yet her impact was immediate. The room, which had been filled with jaded executives, was now buzzing with conversation. Her words had struck a chord, leading to immediate discussions on how to improve the call center's operations. Maria's influence didn't come from a position of power or authority, but from her ability to communicate the human side of the issue, making the executives see the problem through the eyes of those on the front lines. These stories highlight a common thread. The true power of influence lies not in the facts or data, but in the ability to connect with others on an emotional and human level. Strategic communication is about more than just conveying information. It's about shaping how people feel, think, and ultimately, act. This involves understanding the audience, tailoring the message to resonate with them, and delivering it with authenticity and authority. In each of these cases, the individuals were able to influence outcomes by shifting their communication from purely transactional to deeply relational. They moved beyond the surface-level exchange of information to create meaningful connections that inspired change. As one powerful quote from the book reminds us, influence occurs when trust is the currency. Trust is built through authentic communication that speaks to the heart as much as to the mind. As the editor of Herdley, by mastering these skills, we can not only navigate the complexities of modern communication, but also set the stage for transformative influence in the future. The art of influence through strategic communication is a powerful tool that shapes how others think, feel, and act. We've seen how connecting on a human level, rather than just relying on data, can transform ordinary interactions into moments of profound influence. One more story brings this point home. A regional vice president in a technology company faced a challenging scenario. He was about to deliver a presentation to his team, who were skeptical about a new strategy being implemented. Instead of diving straight into the details, he began with a personal anecdote about a past failure, sharing how a lack of communication had led to a project's downfall. His vulnerability and honesty surprised the team, breaking down their defenses. By the time he introduced the new strategy, the team was fully engaged, willing to listen and adapt. His ability to connect personally turned a potentially contentious meeting into a collaborative discussion, demonstrating the undeniable power of strategic communication. Through these stories, we've seen that influence is not merely about what you say, but how you say it. It's about understanding your audience, connecting emotionally, and delivering your message with authenticity. This approach doesn't just inform, it transforms, making your communication memorable and impactful. As the editor of Herdley, by embracing these strategies, we can move beyond traditional communication methods, leading with influence and shaping the future of how we connect with others.